All right.
Hey
Hi
Boaz.
there. This
Hi
is
there.
Boaz.
This is
Andrew.
Andrew. We're gonna try to do a Zoom discussion here. We're kind of trying to figure out the technology as well. So we'll see if something comes of this.
All right. We're
And
here today at my house in Lafayette, Colorado, at the Nyland co-housing community. And Andrew, my brother's been visiting me for a couple days and having a nice time, appreciating the visit. And yeah, Andrew, what's your impression about co-housing and the community we have here as you've been observing?
well, sure have a lot of nice things about the Nyland community here. Um, Housing is nice. Whenever you walk outside, you run into somebody you know. Um, and I especially like the community spaces like the community house, the community with the community kitchen, like a area you can do yoga and meetings and gatherings, and then of course the farm and the areas to walk in. These are also great. So, generally my I think it's great, except for it's a little bit expensive for low income people, and also there's only limited amounts of housing here. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I've been here a little over 2 years and generally been a pretty good experience. I was living in North Boulder in a apartment complex and just very hard to meet people, very hard to do common things together. Um, so having a common space for activities is really helpful. Having the walking paths, we call them pedways, in between is really great because you just run into people. And then the kind of shared governance structure, we have something called CAGs, the community action groups, and people participate in that and work on the land together and clean the common spaces together and organize community meals together. And we have things called cottage meetings where you get together in someone's house and talk about something, and so there's a certain amount of culture and shared things to be done together. So I've learned a lot, and there have been some challenges, but it's been a great place to live. So we talk a lot about community these days, and isolation in our culture, and I mean, people really getting isolated from each other and getting into the computer and just kind of communicating with people from a distance, but not really knowing their neighbors very well. So I'm really interested in how we can combine these together to use some of the internet technologies, but use that to develop local community and combine that with having healthy, functional places that you live locally. So, Andrew, you've been talking about doing that in Fairfield and have already have a fair amount of experience and have built up some community around your business and the different kinds of groups going on. So, yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about what's going on in Fairfield.
um, okay. I live in Southeast Iowa in a small town called Fairfield, home of the Transcendental Meditation. But it's also a Midwestern town with a lot of Midwestern problems, with big farming all around us, um, with this university that is now struggling, and so um, not as much kind of support for the town from that community. And I think the world is struggling with how to kind of redefine um, uh, living situations and moving more towards community. And so I felt this pull to be more involved in community, what's going on in Fairfield. There's a few small communities that I know about that have had some limited success, and it's kind of inspiring to see. I'm just a part of, just the town, um, in that I participate a little bit in sort of community events, but I'm also the main thing that I've been doing is building this business with the idea of collaboration rather than top-down approach to my business. And it's kind of working pretty well. It's messy, and that's partly due to maybe who I am, but also what I'm trying to do. I believe in community for living and for business. I haven't done it as much with my personal living situation, but I'm really considering that now, possibly next year to buy a an old small farm or an old property with 5 to 10 acres and have um, kind of a main house, but then also some smaller living quarters that could either be built or there or could be brought in by trailer or something like that for other people that could live there on a part-time basis or a temporary basis or um as it evolves. So
Hmm.
anyway, it's just something in my mind, in kind of in the air, and I'm experimenting with it. And I feel like for somebody without a lot of money and with a little bit openness to kind of the messiness of community, that it feels like a good thing to do, a good direction to go.
Tell us a little more about your business. What's been successful? What is your approach to kind of not having a top-down uh, approach to
Yeah.
building a business?
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I've been an arborist in um starting in California, and then a little bit in Oregon, and now here in Iowa, and basically just done tree work for people and some other things dealing with tree health and planting trees and things like that. But this is my third kind of version of it, and I feel like I don't want to be having to be at every job and be responsible for all aspects of from getting the job to doing the job to doing the office and side of the job to collecting the money, maintaining the tools. It's just overwhelming. So I've came up with this concept, just sort of felt right to instead of have other collaborators in my business, contractors, volunteers, workers, different maybe models for different people, but basically to have other people that kind of took ownership of the business. And 3 years ago, I rented this old warehouse space in Fairfield and in town, so it's very central. And I've had misgivings and almost given it up several times, but I have space for tools, for uh, wood, mulch, plants, and having this central location with room to grow, room to do things, and my attitude of let's attract people that have similar collaborative ideas and also similar kind of types of work that would work with mine. I've invited people sort of on a trial basis to join me, and certainly hasn't worked out in every case, but I'm developing this core group of people that work together, trust each other, have different sort of areas of domain, and this is year number 5 with my business. I basically do arborist service, which is tree trimming, tree removal, uh, tree planting, a little bit of tree care, and then we're doing native plant sales and installation, and we sell mulch, and then we also maintain our tools and store our tools. And so this is the first year that there is a group that is forming that can help each other and kind of work collaboratively. And it's really awesome. And I'm actually out of town for 2 weeks and quite a bit of work is going on while I'm away. And, several $1,000s worth of work is going on. It's not huge, but it's significant. And basically things are being handled. And I'm in touch with people, not even every day, but I'm in touch with people as need be.
Mhm.
So that's pretty cool. It's something that I've thought about for a long time, but truly this is the first year it's actually coming to fruition.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I've seen some of that firsthand, and it seems like it's going in a good direction. Uh, this was going to be a relatively short video. Any other
Right.
topics you wanted to cover before we wrap up?
Well, I guess we're talking about community a lot between
Yeah.
you and I, and also how to support ourselves, given the changing world and with computerization and AI and being um, often and decentralized from the work that we do. And so those are some topics that I hope to look into in discussions with you.
Yeah.
Uh, and I
Sorry,
feel,
say that again, kind of how to support yourself, how to
yeah,
combine community and
right.
development of that with financial aspects, economic aspects, and I
Yeah,
mean, in a
absolutely.
very changing landscape in our world
Very,
today, where there's a lot of
exactly.
uncertainty, and I mean, you and I might have different opinions on, I don't know that much about it, but at the same time, it's clear that there could be really big changes ahead in our
Yeah,
ways of
there are
interacting, dealing with
big
money
changes.
and financial
Yeah,
security,
there are
lots of.
big changes that are going on, and it's kind of overwhelming. And I feel like if we get teams together that can have one or two people that can handle like internet security, and there's like people that have um an area of expertise, an area of focus, like a bigger company, but more in some kind of a collaborative, like we're helping each other out, we're in it together kind of way. And also like an economic side to community too. That's something that somehow was like in my intuition or dreams the last couple nights, is like there needs to be some kind of strong economic angle to community and
Mhm.
property. And you were talking about the need for um, both a localized presence as well as the collaborative communication through the computer. Do you want to
Yeah,
say
I've
something?
thought about that a fair amount. I really like the writings of Wendell Berry, who talks about a real kind of a farm type rural community development, but really a lot of care for the land and a lot of care for the people you live around and sort of a healthy lifestyle that develops with the people you're living around. But then he's to my mind, he cuts things off with the technology. He kind of drew a real hard line saying he's not interested in computers at all, and I think that we kind of need both. We need the networking and using some of these digital tools together with the local community. There's a guy named Jordan Hall who's talked about the concept of a civium, where you have, instead of a big city development, you have smaller communities, but then network together with the internet, and you can get the same kind of scaling properties of what you get with cities. Really amazing stuff has happened when all these people come together and you have all these people to talk to. But some of that same kind of scaling you can now get with the internet, with being able to talk to people all over the world, but you still
Right.
do have certain needs of life that should be taken care of locally. And so kind
Yeah,
of,
not only that, you were talking about, and I feel like you need to kind of know who these people are. So, if somebody is
Right.
in another country or you really don't know who they are, it's a little bit hard to trust them to be part of your
Yeah,
network.
some of the bad aspects of social media has come out of the anonymity, the fact that you can be so anonymous, and it's gone to the extreme of them not even being real people, all the bots that are showing up on them. So it's kind
Yeah,
of moving to the other direction where you know who you're dealing with. Maybe a
yeah.
profile is a little bit richer. The profile says,
Mhm.
I live in this town, and here's some videos of what it looks like, and here's some, I don't know, just kind
Yeah,
of not be so anonymous and not be so disconnected from the physical world. So we use these tools and have digital contact with each other, but
hmm,
we know that it's a real person we're dealing with, and they have real ties to the area. And I think that would make for more trust and would kind of get rid of some of the bad stuff going on the internet. So,
yeah. All right. Well,
yeah.
let's wrap this one up, and hopefully this is the first of many videos between us, and then of course we hope to expand it with you know, other talking with other people and other types of presentations.
Sounds good. All right, let me end this here. Thanks, Andrew, and I'll talk to you shortly.
Okay, bye.